I am back with 3 more delicious recipes. Hey guys, Kira here from 50 Shades of Mom, back to share another video, and in today's video I am sharing 3 more delicious recipes. Now these recipes came from Everyplate, and if you're interested in giving them a try, I have a $20 off link that's always in the description box, but I'm not here for the clicks guys, I'm here for the tricks. Everyplate continues to keep teaching me tricks that I am learning every time I use their service in the kitchen that I'm going to continue to use moving forward. Their recipes are so simplistic. There's not a lot of ingredients, but they're absolutely delicious. So I'm going to take you down to the counter and I'm going to show you 3 recipes that I prepared from Everyplate. Okay guys, so here is all we're going to need to make our first recipe, and that is chicken and pepper quesadillas. Ridiculously simplistic, you guys, but so flavorful. So with this, they gave us 2 tortillas, the chicken breast strips that we need, a 1 long green pepper, some sour cream, some of the Southwest seasonings, and then 1 package of mozzarella cheese and 1 package of Monterey Jack. Like, that is it. The only thing we need from home is a little bit of vegetable oil. And like I said, the recipe itself is super simple. So I always show a back of the recipe card. So if you guys want to pause right here, take a screenshot so you're able to follow along at home, I would highly suggest it because, like I said, their meals are amazing. So we're just going to throw a little bit of olive oil into the pan, and then we're putting in our diced up green pepper with a little bit of salt and pepper. You want to get a really good char on that. Like, once you get a good char, that is what's changing the flavor of the quesadilla. Like, normally I would just add in fresh peppers, but charring that pepper just made a ton of difference. So once it was done being charred, I pulled it out of the frying pan, added some more olive oil to the same exact pan, and then put in that diced chicken. While that chicken was cooking, I laid out my tortillas and I split the cheese between both tortillas, both the Monterey Jack and the mozzarella. You could put half the cheese, your fillings, and then the other half of cheese on top if you'd like, but I just went crazy and put it all on one, and then I covered the cheese with our charred green pepper. And then once that chicken was all done and cooked in the frying pan, I came back and added that, and then I closed the quesadillas back up and I put them back into the frying pan to give them a good toast on each side. Now, while they were cooking in the frying pan, I took a remainder of those spices. We only used like 3/4 of the spices on top of the chicken. I used the last quarter of the spices and I mixed it into that sour cream. So once the quesadilla was all toasted and done and I cut it up on the plate, I was able to dunk it into that Southwest sour cream, and that was like a game changer. I have taco seasoning and stuff in my house all the time, and we always have sour cream on hand, but never thought to mix some of that into the sour cream, but that was like a game changer. So between charring the green pepper and then adding the seasoning to the sour cream, I couldn't believe how a simple quesadilla that I've made a zillion times was so much better than anything I had made. Their seasonings were so good. I wish there were ingredients on the back so I knew exactly what was in it, but we completely enjoyed this quesadilla. So now we're on to our next recipe, and this is a Mediterranean veggie stuffed pepper. Daryl loves stuffed pepper, so I thought he was really going to enjoy this, but it was me who enjoyed this. He was not an overwhelming fan, but I literally ate every one of these stuffed peppers over the course of 3 days. It was so good. So what you see here is what you need. We needed 2 peppers, some garlic, some lemon. They gave us rice, some seasoning, 2 green onions, some feta cheese, some chickpeas, a little bit of vegetable stock, some sour cream, and then some hot sauce. You guys, this was one of the most delicious recipes I have gotten from them. It was just so different, and that's what I loved about it. So here's the recipe card. All we'll need from home is some vegetable oil and some butter, and like I said, you guys can stop right now and take a screenshot. But if you like those Mediterranean flavors like lemon and feta, all of that kind of mixed together, this is the recipe for you. I would have never put this together myself. So I went and chopped up everything. Our peppers, our green onions, they wanted to separate the dark from the light green. I cut up the garlic, I cut up the lemon, and then I even zested the lemon. And then we're going to throw a stock pot on the stove with a little bit of heated olive oil. And we're going to add in the darker green onion and the garlic. And we're going to let that saute for a little bit. And then we're going to add in the rice and some water. And we're just going to let that cook down until the rice, you know, obviously gets cooked all the way through. We're going to add a little bit of salt, pepper, and olive oil to our drained chickpeas on a sheet pan. And once they're all mixed up, we're going to put these in the oven because the recipe calls for a crispy chickpea, which was, oh my goodness, so good. So now we're just going to take a little bit of olive oil and salt and pepper, and we're going to baste inside of those peppers all the way through, on the inside, on the outside. You just kind of want that oil and salt and pepper to seep in while they're roasting. And then we're going to throw those in the oven right next to the chickpeas and let them cook for about 15-20 minutes. When they come out, you can see that the chickpeas are crispy and the peppers are soft and tender, and now they're ready for the next step. So now that our rice is done, we're going to add in those 2 tablespoons of butter, that lemon zest, the feta, and then you're going to add in about 3/4 of those crispy chickpeas. Once everything's inside, we're just going to give it a good mix. You guys, the lemon zest in rice, like, who'd have thunk? It is so bright and fresh. That lemon zest was just pulling out all of the flavor of the feta and their seasoning packets that was inside of that rice. Like, just so good. So once our mixture was all done and mixed thoroughly, I put it inside of that stuffed pepper, and then the key is to lay some of that remaining mixture on the bottom of the bowl. You're going to put your stuffed peppers on top, and then you're going to put some of that sour cream. They actually had me put the sour cream in a bowl and then squeeze some of the lemon juice to get it pourable. So you're going to pour that pourable lemon sour cream on top of this, and then drizzle the hot sauce, put that extra lemon on the side, and you guys, like, wow. And speaking of wow, we're on to our very last meal, and this is the hotel butter steak. And I'm going to tell you something, them teaching me how to change the butter in a recipe and infuse it with garlic and parsley and stuff, and then use it on something else, is going to be something I'm going to take with me forever. I now do that with my baked potatoes, and then now I'm going to do this with my steak. Like, all you need is butter and vegetable oil from home. And then they provided 5 small potatoes, which I thought was perfect for a 2-person portion control, some fresh parsley, there's the butter we need, those beef ranch steaks, which I will say were a little small for the price, but some garlic, some green beans, some sliced almonds, and then here is the recipe card if you guys want to pause it. But here is all of our ingredients all ready to go. Our butter is in a microwavable dish. I took our potatoes and I sliced them like a 1/4 inch thick because we're going to lay them evenly on a sheet pan. Diced up the garlic and the parsley. So now we're going to add our chopped garlic, or at least a majority of it, to our butter that's softened, and we're going to mix that all the way through with that parsley. And then we're just going to put that off to the side because that's what you're going to put on top of your cooked steak. Like, that butter melted down into the steak and made it so rich and creamy, like unbelievable. So I threw those potatoes in a bowl, drizzled some olive oil and salt and pepper. While I was salt and peppering that, I threw some salt and pepper in our butter mixture as well. And then I mixed up all of the potatoes, and then I evenly put them on a sheet pan. So this is the best way to get a potato cooking fairly fast. These cooked in 20 minutes on 400 degrees, but they were really crispy on both sides. You guys will see that. Almost similar to a potato chip, but still a little bit tender on the inside. So it was a really great side dish. Definitely different. I don't slice my potatoes when I do roasted potatoes. I do like chunks, so it's a lot more potatoy on the inside. This had more of a crisp, so I really enjoyed them. I have mentioned that I'm a potato girl, right? So once those were in a pan even, I threw those in the oven, and then I stuck those sliced almonds in a frying pan and toasted them until they were crispy. I had to be careful though because I almost burnt them. Like, you have to watch those almonds. They only need to be in a pan for just a few minutes. But then once those almonds come out, I threw some olive oil in the same pan, salt and peppered those steaks, and once the olive oil got to temperature, I threw the steaks in and I grilled them on each side. I should have cut into it so you guys can see that it was still perfectly red on the inside. Too red for my husband, but perfect for me. And then once the steak is out, in the very same pan, you're going to throw in those green beans and add a little bit of water. And that water is just going to push through all those green beans and get them cooked. And once they're almost done, I added in a little bit of butter and that garlic and some salt and pepper. And then I mixed that all the way through. And once that, you can smell the garlic had cooked, I topped it with almonds on the plate. Like, there's the finished product, you guys. I just recently showed this in a What's for Dinner clip because Daryl and I had a little date night. The kids ate like chicken nuggets and mac and cheese, I think, that night. And Daryl and I had this. Like I said, that butter, it just melted down into that steak and it made the steak so tender. It was literally dissolving in my mouth. It was delicious. Again, I wish the steak was a little bit bigger, but it was so, so good. And those almonds on the green beans and the potatoes, I don't know, you guys, I can't talk enough about Everyplate. This is the only service I have used over and over and over again because they're so cheap, but their recipes are so good. Like, I've already cooked a few of their recipes again and again. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you're interested in Everyplate, don't forget to click the link in the description box below. I love you guys all so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one.